Hello and welcome to another update video on XRP. Yeah, the market has barely moved over the last week here. I mean, XRP has really barely moved. We're now sort of around these price levels from the 24th of July, but I feel we should go a little lower probably because there has not been any upside impulse or anything. As I mentioned in yesterday's update, in yesterday's video, the last rally or bounce ended as a three-wave move up. We can zoom in a little bit. You see it that this last bounce really was a three-wave move up. Also, honestly, I don't really get excited about what happened here. These are obviously all just micro movements, but a double bottom structure here is pretty much not a reliable reversal signal. These double bottoms tend to break. So yeah, I'm still looking for lower prices. My last update highlighted that XRP is likely on its way to $2.81, possibly $2.75. I see no reason to change that right now, that idea. So probably still on our way to round about $2.75. The idea is that the initial decline from the 18th of July high was a three-wave move down. Problem is a little bit that the B wave was so weak. So we could say maybe this was a B wave, B wave, and now we're moving down in a C wave, which could be a diagonal pattern. I have to say, though, that if this is the case, if it's a diagonal, look, the wave one looks a bit like a five-wave move. So it's a bit messy what's happening here. I think we are either dealing with a very ugly downside impulse in wave C of 4, yeah, which is why I don't really try to label all the nano levels here because it's not very helpful, okay? Or we are dealing with a so-called WXY structure, in which this was a three-wave move in wave W, X wave, and we're now working our way down lower in wave Y. Obviously, none of that would really have an impact on levels. It's just like for educational purposes, also to have it academically correct, I guess. So we could say we're working here our way lower in this correction in an ABC structure, yeah, in an ABC structure potentially, in wave Y, okay. But yeah, I think it's a very, very complex correction. I don't really like the idea of the WXY so much because, look, if I zoom in a little bit, we might have seen wave one as a five-wave move. Then we had a very ugly wave two flat correction. This here already looks like 5 down, so honestly, it might have been a weak third wave. Fourth wave, maybe even as a triangle. We have a very slight overlap there with the wave 1 low, very slight overlap. But if it's a triangle, the wave 4, then we don't actually. So it's very much possible. This fourth wave is doing a bit of a triangle here. A, B, C, D, E, you know, just saying. Hold on, not that. Possible, and then as long as the E wave stays below the last high there at $3.02, we might see at least one more low in wave 5 of C to round about, yeah, 275. But again, that's not to predict the next low will be the last one. This is more about highlighting the trend is still down. And at this point, I would still need to see a break above $3.17, $3.18, you know, for an indication that a low has formed. Any break below $2.90 should open the door to a test of 281 to 275. Pressure appears to remain down on the XRP chart here. Bigger picture unchanged. So what we really want to see to keep this structure alive, that this here is, let's say, just a wave 4 pullback, we ideally want to see a reaction before the price breaks below 275. If you watched yesterday's video, I also covered the larger time frame and explained to you what the alternative scenarios are. If we break below $2.75, or at least let's talk about a decisive break, right? If there is a decisive break. One scenario would be that we are still in this wave 4, which presumably actually in the yellow scenario bottomed already in April. So that would be one I would then prepare for. Yeah, I would already now prepare for it mentally. There is one more way where we could say, okay, maybe this is doing what Bitcoin is doing. Maybe we are forming a diagonal pattern. This is going to be an A, B, C structure of wave 3. And in that case, we should hold $2.21, however. But these scenarios will really only come into focus once we start to break below 275. For now, we're looking lower anyway in the very short term. That's the update on XRP. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. I also invite you to join us on X for additional updates, additional content. Here you can ask questions, let us know your thoughts. Again, there are additional updates, sometimes even video updates that you won't find on YouTube. So check it out. Thanks so much. I leave a link, by the way, for our X channel in the description and comment section. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.